So I was scrolling Twitter and I found a video of someone talking about their investments and managing their parents' retirement investments in a kind of a weird way, and in a way that I think is not the best way to go about things. I think it's a dangerous mentality. It includes micro strategies and Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. I think in this case, when we're talking about micro strategies and he has a levered up micro strategies ETF, you might as well just buy Bitcoin and not MicroStrategy if you're buying MicroStrategy as a proxy for Bitcoin. Never understood people that want to buy the MicroStrategy or Bitcoin miners or any of this stuff when they don't, if they don't have any Bitcoin or want exposure to it. You might as well just buy the real thing.
What's up, guys? I just want to do a quick video about what's going to happen these next couple weeks and what I just did personally. So personally, as you guys probably know, I'm managing some of my parents' retirements, trading it for them. They've authorized me to do that, and I've had a lot of MSTR and MSTX for them. Today, I sold a lot of MicroStrategy stock to load up on MSTX for them.
I just want to come in and say how crazy that is to say I'm trading my retirement account is insane, right? Especially your parents' retirement account. I don't think those two things should ever come together in a sentence. Retirement accounts and trading, because trading is a negative sum game. You're designed to lose. You don't have access to the information at the speed at these hedge funds and money managers do. They pay a lot of money to have access to that information immediately, and you don't have that. So anyone who's trading, you're trading against these hedge funds and money managers who just have more information than you. So you can't win. But you shouldn't be combined like that. And on top of that, talking about selling something to buy something else, a lot of things that people don't factor in when you do that is taxes. So paying taxes on what you're selling, if it's short term, going to be devastating. Long term, maybe less devastating, but still, people don't usually factor in taxes, and that can absolutely destroy you.
In my personal account, I am very heavily in MSTX right now, and I'll walk you through why. First of all, MicroStrategy, highest performing stock. This is the first dip we've seen to the 50 moving average. This is going to bounce from here. It's got a perfect technical setup. Secondly, I know what's going on with this stock and what's actually occurring with MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. I understand it's incredibly undervalued, so I know it's going to go higher. So that adds second confirmation. Thirdly, I got 10 texts from different friends today saying they sold MicroStrategy stock today. And those are people who don't understand MicroStrategy. So that tells me that the market makers have effectively shaken out retail. Now they can let it rip.
I think those options that he's giving out here are so insane. And this is the dangerous mindset to have, is anything saying, I know this will happen, it has to bounce, and thinking like you're smarter than the market and the market is wrong and you are right. Like, it's just the very, very dangerous mindset to have in investing, because the reality is nobody knows. No one has an idea. No one can tell you what's going to happen. If they could, they'd be a billionaire off of trading off of it. They would know exactly what's going to happen. They would know when to short, when to buy, when to sell, when to go long, when to do everything, and they would be a billionaire. So if anyone's telling you they know what's going to happen, they're lying to you. And that mindset alone can get people destroyed in investing, because thinking that you know and thinking that I've outsmarted the market and I know better, it maybe you get it right a couple of times, and then that like puts in your mind that you actually do know. You actually are smarter than Warren Buffett. You know better. And then the next time you go and do this, it destroys you and goes wrong, and then you can't say you were wrong because clearly you know better, so you have to point to other reasons of what happened. And looking at MicroStrategy, again, I don't know why people would buy MicroStrategy instead of buying Bitcoin if you are just buying it for a Bitcoin play, which basically anyone who is doing that. You just look at MicroStrategy, it's down 10% for the past month. So clearly, because it's a proxy to Bitcoin, Bitcoin's got to be down, right? Bitcoin has to be suffering for this past month for MicroStrategy to be down. Maybe not as bad. Maybe it's down 10% or 8%, 5%, right? And MicroStrategy is down a levered up because it's a levered play. But that wouldn't be true. Bitcoin is up 5%, while MicroStrategy is down 10%. So there's a divergence here. Why is Bitcoin up and MicroStrategy down? That's not how it's supposed to work, right? Well, if you just think about it for MicroStrategy, just as a simple thing, who can explain these moves like this? Who really cares? But at the end of the day, Michael Saylor is selling MicroStrategy stock to buy Bitcoin. So when you see that, why would you want to buy MicroStrategy stock if you could just buy Bitcoin? He's buying Bitcoin and selling the stock. There's like a news thing of him like wanting to offer 1 billion shares or 10 billion shares. It was something crazy. Him wanting to offer that and then being like, oh, we want to try and buy all this Bitcoin. You know what that does to the price, the share of the price, right? It plummets. It's massive dilution. And people can be all for it and say it's going to be great, but the dilution will force the price down. So I just don't know why people would choose to be in MicroStrategy instead of Bitcoin if the only reason is it's a Bitcoin proxy.
Secondly, we get to the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin, we're seeing exhaust and selling in Bitcoin right now. Right now it's at 98K. In MicroStrategy, by the way, I'll just document this. MicroStrategy right now is at 337, $82 billion market cap. And Bitcoin's just under 100K. We're seeing exhaust and selling in Bitcoin itself. So I know it's right on support. I know it's going to fire up. Secondly, I've studied the seasonality of halving years. I understand that the final 2 weeks of the year are incredibly bullish for Bitcoin. During halving years, 2016, 2020, they all returned about 10% each of those weeks. So I know we're going to see a massive reversal and breakout.
So again, we have the same kind of story here, just saying, I know this is going to happen. It happened before. Historically, doesn't matter in Bitcoin, right? There's a bunch of people right now that are saying this is the top of Bitcoin because past cycles have topped in November, December, every single time, so it cannot go higher. So either that's wrong and it's not going to do the exact same thing it's done before, or it's right and we're going down to a bear market, right? And most people are saying like this, like it has to go up, it's going to new all-time highs and all this stuff. I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but I don't care what happens short term, and you can't judge the past because we've already seen this before. So people were astonished that Bitcoin made a new all-time high before the halving in 2024 because it had never done that ever before, ever. And it was not supposed to be possible. But guess what? Bitcoin did that. And that's an example of a good thing, right? The price went up, so people are going to say, oh, it's never done it, but this is the reason, this and that and the other. But also, before that, in the bear market, Bitcoin went below the previous all-time high of 20K, and it was never done that ever before in Bitcoin's history, ever. Never before done. But yet we saw it happen. And there were people saying, oh, this is because Bitcoin's dead forever. It's going to 3K. The worst is upon us. And that didn't happen either. So you get these massive emotional things coming off when people see things that haven't happened before or aren't going along with the pattern. But that's just normal. Just because it happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen again. And just because something hasn't happened before doesn't mean it can't happen. Although I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, I think it's definitely a massive underpriced asset. And I think that it's got a massive road ahead of it. I also don't think you can just attribute everything and know that you're going to buy the bottom, sell the top, know everything's going to happen because this happened the last cycle, that it's going to happen again. I don't think you can do that. I think buying and holding for the long term, that's the winning formula. Trying to time everything is the losing one. That's where people get wrecked and end up just losing everything. But I just saw this video and thought it was interesting as, the mindset that I don't think people should have in investing is I know it has to do this. This is going to happen. When you go in with that, you set yourself up for failure because nobody knows. It doesn't have to happen. Things can go wrong. So, I would say just stay away from that mindset. Maybe he's completely right. Maybe he times the bottom of this MSTR thing and goes into this levered thing. Bitcoin goes all-time highs. MicroStrategies follows, and everything's great. Or maybe Bitcoin goes to all-time highs and MicroStrategies lags behind because they are selling more shares or diluting or something happens. You don't know. But there's scenarios in which they don't follow Bitcoin, which we already seen this past month. I would rather own Bitcoin than own MicroStrategies, but that's just me. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, wish you guys one and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.